Yeah,
I'm going to
new draft.
message that for Nick.
Cool. So, game 2 is being played on Haunted Mines.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that makes me happy.
Game 2 is being played on Haunted Mines. Just going to remind you of that. Twitch chat, Haunted Mines. So, we can actually just take the Heroes of the Storm playbook, we can take the Heroes of the Storm comp book, and we can throw it out the window for this game, because Haunted Mines is nothing like the other maps.
I do want to say, though, this map is actually Tacidar's. You know, I got it right in the first time. Artanis is
very strong on this map.
But it's
Artanis
also
is strong on this map.
one of the strongest maps for Artanis.
This is also a map that Illidan often goes crazy on, just because in those mines there's nowhere to run. Illidan can chase you down.
I mean, he's used to being down in the darkness. 10,000 years he spent down there. I don't know if you know, but
10,000 years of pain. Also, though, a lot of the map maneuverability characters work very well on here, because you can stage dive your way into the bottom mines, or you can
phase shift with Brightwing,
Falling Sword, or phase shift with Brightwing, or medevac with Morales. So you don't actually have to take the entrance if you've got some of those.
You can be very tricky with it, yes. And Makziboys is going to ban out the Tassadar, even though they've used it themselves.
So they have first pick as well. So interesting that they banned the Tassadar. Maybe they want to show that they do have another comp here, and that they want to bring that to the table. So Tassadar and Uther were back to banning the supports. Taronde, however, is still away there, and she's a first pick up there for Makziboys.
So, you know, they've normally been banning out the Taronde themselves, or having it banned out, so picking up the Tassadar support, they're going to favour the Taronde this time.
Infinity Esports, however, could just pick up the Sonya and the Muradin right now. I mean, Hydra was playing that Muradin quite well. Admittedly, he did fall a few times, nowhere near as many times as Inception did. But that Muradin was still effective there. But instead, they're taking the Jaina there. They don't want Makziboys to have the Jaina. Though last time, Makziboys were very happy playing Kael'thas.
Yeah, I mean, I think really they should take up the double mage away from Makziboys. I think because Makziboys showed how easily they could deal with Muradin.
This is the problem with taking double mage early. Taking the if you took Jaina and Kael'thas at that point, remembering that Makziboys, I don't know, they're not going to have the final pick, are they? They're going to have the last but one. Depending on what got picked up in the post-second ban phase there by Infinity Esports, it would leave Nova open, and Nova is also a terror on Haunted Mines.
Surprisingly, it's actually a decent map for her. Infinity going to ban out Sonya. Makziboys, I think they'd be looking to ban out probably the Malfurion here, but no, going to ban out Sylvanas. Just don't want to deal with that sort of pressure. Yeah,
Sylvanas can push very well with the Golem here on the Haunted Mines. So Sylvanas is another hero that's quite strong on Haunted Mines. It's really strange with Haunted Mines because it flips the meta on its head. There's a lot of non-meta heroes that work very well in the mines but don't work elsewhere, but just because of the double lane comp, and also that huge open space inside the mines itself.
And you can't forget the fact that the objective, the skulls into the golem, it's one of the most powerful objectives on any map whatsoever. The fact that it doesn't constantly spawn at base like a Garden Terror does, for example. The golem it will always push further and further unless you have a Tassadar for the shields, or it's a weak golem and you can mule it up. Even with a Tassadar, and I do like getting Tassadar, playing Tassadar on this map, and just going, double shields on buildings, plus mule. You do lose the other shielding talents at 4 and 7, but it means effectively you can never die. as long as you don't completely lose outright to your opponents. Now, we do have a call for don't encourage Nova picks, but I actually think Nova would be pretty good versus Makziboys right now. And Infinity eSports, they've got a not double warrior, they've got a warrior plus a Kerrigan. I mean, you throw, say, like a Brightwing, and then a Tyrael into... I mean, the Tyrael pick I absolutely love in this point. But I was going to say, if you throw, say, like a Rhaegar, sorry, is what I meant to say, not Brightwing. Rhaegar or Brightwing, and then put a Nova, that could be pretty strong versus Makziboys, because Karazim, Kael'thas, and Tyrande all would just die.
Quite squishy, actually, yeah.
And it would force Karazim to take Divine Palm, which isn't a bad ultimate, don't get me wrong, but really against Muradin, and with, especially more so with that off support on your team, it means Karazim can take 7-sided strike instead of Divine Palm. Which just kind of opens up more options for your team. And if you're forced into Divine Palm, then it effectively means that having the off support Tyrande kind of it not null and voids the pick, but it makes her not a great pick in comparison to having her in other compositions. So the Tyrael makes a lot of sense here for me.
Infinity eSports are locked down to they don't have a support on their team yet, so they will be taking a support, so that won't be a last pick Nova unless they really want to go supportless. No ETC to be a support on this. Tyrael will provide some shields, but I don't feel picking up the Kerrigan is what you want to do if you want to go supportless.
No. I feel like Rhaegar would be a great choice because you would have the ancestral healing plus obviously the sanctification. Yep. But Brightwing is a very strong pick on Haunted Mine, so she can just, phase shift her way immediately onto anybody, as well as provide a big shield for the Kerrigan or the Tyrael, and block and movement speed. I think the utility she brings out is a bit better, and putting her in a composition with Tyrael is really strong because Tyrael can provide that little bit of extra burst healing as well as that big healing ultimate, which a Brightwing would lack.
So Makziboys taking the Arthas here. Personally, I would have actually looked for Diablo, and then they're looking at ETC as well. Now the reason I was have gone for a Diablo here,
why?
Is with the Tyrande, they have a Shadow Stalk, which means that they have a very good fast engage from stealth. Yeah. They can come into the mines completely unseen and jump on somebody and pick them off. What are they going to try and do to stop that? Well, Tyrael is probably going to try and take Sanctification and stop those 5 versus 5 fights. Or be able to wear them down. Kerrigan getting a lot of damage through if they do pick the Brightwing up here. The Brightwing shield also there. How do you stop somebody from staying alive in Sanctification? Well, you throw them out of it.
You can't actually interact with any heroes that are inside the Sanctification because they're immune as if they've got Divine Shield.
They're completely immune. Yes, they are. So you can't actually throw them. That was my mistake.
No, it's fine. I did like the thinking, but yeah, damn. We are gonna.
I was thinking just shift them out the zone and it's all fine. But okay, no, I forgot it's not just a damage stop; it's a completely immunity now, isn't it?
The last pick here is gonna be Malfurion. I think that other healers would have been better. Really, I like the Brightwing. I think would have suited the composition much more, and on top of that, I mean, the Rhaegar would have suited it well because Rhaegar's a melee hero. You can't forget that. So would have benefited from Sanctification if needed, and on top of that, has the big heal to keep the Kerrigan alive, kind of counteracting the lack of utility a Brightwing would bring. The Malfurion. I mean, yes, Malfurion. You can't say no, Malfurion, but.
You just did say no, Malfurion.
I just feel like Malfurion's not really the best pick possible in this. I feel like a Rhaegar would have provided like the healing ultimate and would get more benefit from the team in general than especially with say Earth Shield and Lightning Shield onto the Kerrigan than the Malfurion provides. The only benefit to having the Malfurion is the potential of Mule, and which probably won't be taken, as well as the Roots. Roots are really, really strong.
Okay.
In fact, if you are affected by a route, you can't channel the exit out of the mines or entrance into the mines. So if a trap is set up and a route is already there, you're stuck for at least a couple seconds. So that's
sometimes that could be enough that all Kerrigan needs to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, a Blizzard plus a Kerrigan and you know that.
Yeah, so a very damage-orientated team coming out here for Infinity Esports, and a very pick. I feel it's a very pick comp coming out there for Makziboys, but we'll see how it does play.
But we do have Makziboys currently 1-0 up in this best of 3 finals between Infinity Esports and themselves, Makziboys, for the Wall of Heroes. Esports Wall hosted Heroes of the Storm tournament. This potentially will be your final map, and if not, we will be moving on to a map 3, deciding map. But Haunted Mines, great map to see. We don't really ever get to see it, and the blue team in this case will be Infinity Esports again. Chevitas on that Master Malfurion, Hydra G on that Muradin, Kandar on the Kerrigan instead of the Jaina, Macula instead of playing Jaina, Inception on that Demonic Tyrael.
Over for the Makziboys, 1-0 up already. They're just going to be a bit of a fight here, so I'm just going to see if this goes anywhere. Toxical playing the Arthurs this time. Big Root and a Howling coming out there. Going to be putting some damage down on there. The Hydra's falling low, but not going to be able to get picked up. He's going to run to the back of Stephen Dwarf toss himself out there. Nice Root is just going to stop any follow-up.
Wow, that Root landing on all 5 was great. There was a 3-man Lunar Flare coming out from the Tyrande there, but that 5-man Root from Malfurion.
So, for the Makziboys, on the Arthas, previously playing Kerrigan, we now have Toxical. Playing Kael'thas, we once again have Mugilol. Playing Tyrande, we have Nick. Hopefully he won't be a bot this game. Misgoj is on Karazim, and Maximus is on the ETC, rocking it up.
Yeah. It's great to see the ETC being quite popular in this tournament. I think he's a fantastic hero to watch, and especially to cast, since effectively everything he does is big and flashy. That's exactly what he's meant to be.
Power slide, face melt, guitar solo.
Yeah, it's great. And Maximus getting caught out here. A stun's gonna land on him, but the Root and the support's coming out from the rest of his team. He's still taking a lot of damage. Might be able to power slide himself away, although it has already been used in there. There's going to be a Ravage out from Kerrigan to finish it up. Muradin almost falling himself, but yeah, the Dwarf Toss keeping alive. And in fact, the Kerrigan combo going to land on Arthas, and he's going to die as well. Kerrigan's still not dead. The healing coming out from the Ravage at level 1, keeping her alive just about. Nick on the Tyrande almost dying. I can't believe the Kerrigan survived that. That's insane.
3-0. The Kerrigan doesn't fall. The Muradin doesn't fall. And was it the Jaina?
Yeah.
Who was the third member there? 3 of them just not falling, sitting on the...
However, despite that, because the 3 heroes came back alive with full health, it does put... in fact, the Jaina is going to end up dying. It does put Makziboys in an advantage for this Mines, because they're all full health and full mana, and there's going to be a trap in the bottom lane ready for the Muradin and the Malfurion, but no, they're going to disengage, and Muradin's going to enter first. And Skull's going to be pretty even at the moment with the Tyrael up in the top right of the Mines grabbing some.
They've split this mine up, and neither of them are really contesting. They both know that where the other team is in this mine. Though Tyrael getting a bit cheeky and going to come sneak in and steal some of the Makziboys' skulls here. Makziboys are going to leave before they fight too much here. Straight out of the mines, that means the Golem is open. And Infinity probably going to look at that. They are 2 skulls up at the moment, but there are still 30 skulls in that
we've got a trap here ready, but it's going to be scattered by the Chandra. An immediate turnaround out there from Infinity.
But they were a bit too close, so they're still going to get engaged on. Maximus is going to
really good power slides coming through. The Face Melt going to do what it can to disrupt and interrupt. Maximus going to end up falling, but not before the Kerrigan actually ended up dying first. Good route from Malfurion, locking 2 in, but the Kerrigan going to be able to just right-click the Tyrael and going to keep himself and the Arthas alive, although he is going to end up dying to the Archangel's Wrath there. Jaina, Macula on that Jaina, going to try and kill out the Karazhan. Not going to be able to do so, although it does look like he will potentially end up dying here, as the Jaina and the Kael'thas fell on the back of that as well. So Karazhan going to fall. Nick not able to be in range to heal or save out his teammate, and yeah, lots of kills going the way of Infinity Esports.
Yeah, 7-4 up for Infinity Esports. A much better start than they had last time, but then Hydra and Shavatus know they're not really going to be able to do this golem, so instead they're going to back up, get back to their teammates, and go in. Now, this is probably actually a good thing for Makziboys that it's taking so long for this golem to fall, because the golems that will be being created from these skulls actually snapshot from the moment the mines open. Meaning, as long as those skulls aren't being picked up, then the golems are, in fact, weaker and weaker compared to the towers that are still powering up at this point. We did see Kerrigan fall there, I apologise, I was talking over the top of it. I'm not
absolutely
sure
fine. I did watch that, so it's absolutely fine.
And now Makziboys are going to pick up the golem here, which will put their golem as the stronger golem, as they do go 30 up, so there'll be 64 to 36.
Good maths there.
I waited for it to update on the screen, I'm sorry.
It's alright. Potentially going to have a bit of engagement down here in the mines, as there is still 4 for each team down here. Now 5 as the Kerrigan coming in. Toxical is just going to get caught out, and he will end up falling here as Kandar looking to engage on the rest of the team. Maximus going to get caught out there by the Kerrigan's combo. Shevatas on that Malfurion looking to land the root. We're going to get the Muradin stun come through there, and does look like ETC might end up falling as well. He's going to get Primal grasped away from the entrance, who wasn't able to escape there, and that is going to be another kill. So 2 kills going in favour of Infinity there, and they do have the weaker golem, but they should just be able to come and take the siege camp and capture it, hopefully around the time this golem walks past this fort, as that is the optimal timing for those siege giants to defend for them. And look, they do in fact capture it just as it gets to the wall, and that means the siege giants should sit about here, safely behind that wall, and throw their rocks at the golem without being killed.
Using the siege giants to defend is something that very good to learn if you're playing Haunted Mines. It's something that a lot of Reddit posts come up about. So Infinity opting to defend against their golem. Meanwhile, it looks as though a 4-man push from Makziboys with a 1-man defense. Where is the 1-man? Oh, no, maybe not.
It wasn't Arthur's, but it wasn't Arthur's, but yeah, he was coming up to through the Bruiser camp to, like you say, join this fight. And this is going to be, I mean, both golems are going to push pretty evenly, as we do have the red golem for the side of Makziboys falling first, but Inception taking some damage, able to Elduin's might his way out, but an amazing Kerrigan combo. The Primal Grasp plus stun landing on 3. Toxical's going to be the first to fall, despite the 3-man Tyrande stun coming out there, and they're just going to have to try and disengage and run away from this. They are able to do so, but there's yet another kill going the way of Infinity. Half damage done to the fort up in top lane against them, whilst no damage actually really done to that fort at all down in bottom lane.
Just the gate taken there,
yes.
And the siege giants will now push out that lane and make sure it does reset before the mines reopen. Kandar just lying in waiting to see if Maximus is going to go too far forwards.
Yeah, it's almost a full level lead here for Infinity, so they're looking pretty good in this Haunted Mine so far.
Yeah, they're about to get their heroics.
Tyrande has actually taken Mule, something I'd like to point out there straight away. As level 10 comes out here for Infinity. So yeah, Tyrande with Mule, interesting to see. Not used it yet as far as I can tell.
No, she hasn't dropped it yet. She's probably going to drop it on top if she does drop it down. Yeah. Just to top that back up, as the bottom hasn't really been pushed on.
And we're actually going to
saying that, Infinity are looking like they're just going to push it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is a smart play. The mines haven't come up yet, and they've seen the opposition up in that top lane, finishing off that fort. So they're going to trade out a fort 1 for 1, and I think that works out kind of in favour of Infinity, as they don't lose out on experience here. The mines will be coming up soon, and in fact, they've got equivalent push of the golems, despite having a weaker golem initially.
So Tyrande just dropped her mule into the middle of the pushing wave, so the wave would stop and kill the mule to reset that, so they could go deal with the Merc camp, and then that wave would reset itself. So interesting play there with the mule.
Yeah, that is some next level players. We get all of Makziboys already in the mines, and they are going to look to set up a trap in top as they went in bottom and then immediately ran up there. But Infinity, they've gone in bottom, and this is where an engagement is going to happen. We're going to have Hydra up in the front line as the Keratin was actually in front. The Tyrannus stun only landing on the Muradin, but the Malfurion route coming down. Huge Tranquility coming out, keeping all the team of Infinity eSports alive. The Mosh Pit coming down from the ETC, landing on 3, but not really doing anything. Might have been more than that. The Kerrigan taking a lot of damage here, but able to stay alive, and the Ravage actually landing on a couple of heroes as it does reset after killing that skull minion there, and then she uses it to pick up.
Strike is not going to save you there, Karazim.
Yeah, it was almost like a rubbish ice block, just delaying the inevitable. I can't speak today. Oof. As most of the skulls will end up being picked up for Infinity, and this second golem, which because of how late the first one was to finish, is going to be stronger than we'd normally see. And we could see a pretty convincing push with this, as it might end up being a 90 for 10 golem in favour of Infinity.
Not wanting to let that go through without a fight, and his team are moving in. But they are a little bit too late to the party, and most of the, in fact, all of the skulls have been picked up at this point. So if they do have a fight, it's just going to be for fighting's sake and try and stop any sort of defense.
Infinity trying to disengage here. Hydra in a massively good position there, as well as the Malfurion routes coming down to cover the retreat. But Hydra his positioning there was so good in covering his team's retreats. They didn't want to engage onto Muradin, and whenever they did, he dwarf tossed himself away and threw more stuns out and just left. That was that.
Yeah, good play there from Infinity. And
Kerrigan in a bad position here, though.
But Kerrigan's going to get dived on by 4. She's just going to fall. She did pop the Maelstrom at the end there. Not sure why. But
yeah, that's very
for
odd.
Like another minute and a half.
Something I would note, though, is very, very clever. The Arthas, I could actually see him through the little mine portal up here on the stream. But he was waiting in the mines. They saw the Kerrigan back off, and then when she turned around and ravaged onto Creep, that's when they came out of the mines and immediately engaged onto her as they knew she had overextended. And actually, the defense for the 10 skull golem is going to come out instead of pushing with this 90 skull golem, probably because the disengage had to happen and they weren't in a position to push with it. But it's only going to really kill one, like the gate and one tower. Meanwhile, the rest of Infinity are pushing that top lane.
Yeah, but you compare it to what the 10 golem did, it's not actually too far behind. Makziboys going to need to come to some sort of defence here, but they are split up at the moment. Maximus is still in that bot lane, so if they did try and fight, it would be a 4 versus 5 there.
Level 13 talents coming out here for Infinity. In fact, the Jade has gone with kind of pub build Jaina talents. We do actually see Snowstorm picked up occasionally by teams. Normally the Korean teams favour Snowstorm over like things like Arcane Intellect, or I forget what other level 4 talents are taken on Jaina often. But yeah, we see that coming out there. And then the extra range on Blizzard in the Stormfront is one that we don't tend to see. Normally get the Ice Block or the Icy Veins. So, interesting choice there.
I wanted to add a lot more to their push, maybe, because that Blizzard can help clearing waves very quickly.
You can just see the range of it. They're actually managing to do some damage to the keep, despite being really far behind with the Siege Giants. So, it kind of makes sense to me. I mean, I'm not opposed to the talents at all. It's just we do tend to see Ice Block and Icy Veins as preferable picks. Normally,
so they are. Now those mid-mercs are up, they're going to go and pick them up. They are going to get scouted by Hedwig. There is no Pierce here, so as soon as Hedwig hits something, they're going to stop.
Yes, the next mines come up with this hard camp being taken. It's going to be cleaned up before the mines do end up spawning, but that little delay might end up costing a few skulls onto Makziboys, as Infinity all end in bottom and immediately head towards top, hopefully hoping to try and catch out. But as you say, Hedwig, the Sentinel, coming out to scout them, and we're going to potentially have an engagement here. Both teams posturing and taking some skulls, the majority going to Infinity.
Oh, Maximus is going to go in there onto Inception, but not really going to be able to land anything. Infinity are going to try and walk away, but Hydra's going to get caught by that Arthur's root and going to fall slowly but surely. A big Ring of Frost coming out, and Seven-Sided Strike is also down. Kerrigan and Muradin fall for Infinity. It does look as though Maxiboys are getting back into this.
Yeah, that was really good. We saw an amazing mosh pit out there from the ETC, landing on 2 or 3. I'm having a bit of a lag issue, so I apologise for the stream if I lose any frames. Tyrael looks like he's going to get caught out here as well. But yeah, Tyrael does end up falling there. That was what I was saying was there was a really good mosh pit, but really that fight was made by the chain stun on the Muradin. What happened was that obviously he got caught out by the ETC power slide, then he got hit by the Arthur's root, then the Tyrande Lunar Flare came down. I'm pretty sure Gravity Lapse probably hit him, and then as soon as that was done, there was maybe a half-second time difference between the stuns ending and then the Ring of Frost landing on the Muradin. And with the Muradin dead, there's not that much Infinity were able to do, and they are going to be behind with this Golem. Is a 37 to a 63.
So it looks as though they're going to send a couple of men down to defend, and a couple... It looks as though they were going to push, but actually they're just claiming some vision. We'll see where they go. I think they might be waiting to see where Infinity go first. Massage is in the back, and Infinity know he's there, so he's just going to get picked. He's going to throw down the Seven-Sided Strike, but that's not really going to save him. The Shadow Stalk also...
Yeah, also being used maybe to try and cover their retreat, or at least do it. But Toxical, he's going to get spotted out. Pots the Army the Dead, if you didn't talk about really, and he's going to do a lot of damage to the Jaina, but he is going to end up falling as that Phoenix came out with the Chain Bomb. Meanwhile, pushing with this 37 Golem, it does look like it's going to end up falling quite quickly, or at least quicker than the 63, but they're doing decent damage. They're probably going to get a keep with this. In fact, they're certainly going to get a keep with this now. And might look to push with it onto the core. If they do, I would be surprised, as we should end up seeing a disengage, and we do. Hearthstoning back as quick as possible.
Yeah, they have a Golem that's pushing up on their keep, and if they Hearthstone back quick enough, they might be able to stop it claiming that keep up
now,
at the top.
This play, I think, is incredibly clever from Infinity, regardless whether they lose this keep or not. I think it's incredibly clever play to push with these smaller golems against the mule coming out from the Tyrande. If that doesn't die, all that damage is going to be completely reversed on from the Tyrande because of that mule. So the fact they didn't lose a keep there as well was absolutely phenomenal. They are ahead now in this push fight.
Yeah, and it was a lot of mispositioning for Makziboys there. Firstly, the catch out for Missage. And then from Biotoxical, literally a few seconds later, they just handing
the small advantage they'd garnered off that Golem back to Infinity eSports there.
So 10 seconds on this Bruiser camp, and it looks as though both sides do want that.
Yeah, probably going to go the way of Makziboys here, as Infinity not willing to engage. They are a level ahead, or almost a level and a half ahead now, but they lost that last engagement and don't want to lose it again. They're not going to risk this. They are one game down, so it is, everything to play for them, and they really, really don't want to lose this game, because that would obviously be the end of the tournament. The best of 3 would be won by Makziboys. But at this point, it looks like Infinity are ahead in this game. But we're not going to count out Makziboys just yet, as anything can happen. This is Heroes of the Storm. Comebacks are very, very possible, despite what IGN says.
I'm getting a little bit of lag at the moment, so you might need to take over if any action does burst out.
Okay, I can hear your sound quality wasn't quite up to par, but you should be okay there.
Okay, cool. Maybe just fluctuation. Hopefully my net won't drop again.
That's right. You sound pretty good. You sound pretty good right now. But yeah, I will be taking the action for this game just in case.
Open, and there are a few catapults starting to build up in that bottom lane, so Makziboys need to dart back and deal with those, and then still try and get in time for the mines opening. But Infinity haven't actually headed to those mines yet. They're just making sure those waves are a little bit bigger and trying to poke a little bit at the Makziboys here before they're going to go in themselves. They are setting up a little trap, but actually decide to abandon that, and instead they're going to go pick up the skulls, realising that a good skull golem will as that golem is now straight onto the core, could just win them the game without any questions being asked.
Yes, and most likely it would be defended by Makziboys, and so Infinity would just be able to defend their golem even if they don't get a bigger one. So we're going to have the engagement out here coming out now. So the Army of the Dead coming down. A lot of damage being done by the Jaina onto that Arthas, but the Sanctification, from the Tyrael, able to save him out as he did take a huge amount of damage from the Kael'thas and the Seven-Sided Strike. Toxical going to get body blocked the way out here, especially with that Holy Ground coming out from the Tyrael. Able to stop him out. The Primal Grass coming from the Kerrigan, trying to stop the Karazim escaping. The Kael'thas is going to die in the meantime. The Arcane Barrier not going to be enough as he is just powered down through that, and it's going to be a 3-0 Infinity. Probably going to be able to pick up all the skulls here.
Seconds down. 100 golems, a skull definite. 100 skull golem definitely looking like it's on the cards here for Infinity.
I mean, the 0 skull golem might end up getting the keep up in top lane for Makziboys.
But in spawn time, Infinity will be able to heal up, and then just walk straight towards the core there and clean up whatever the golem leaves alive, because they could just win the game from this.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if they don't. If they don't, it would be an absolutely stellar defense coming out of Makziboys. It would have to be absolutely perfect.
Makziboys are currently setting up
a
little party bush.
This sort of play is the only play they can do at this point to try and win this out. Mugi Lol is bait, ready for a good mosh pit to land, and if they clean this up, they may be able to get there in time to defend the core from this 100 skull golem. But there are danger pings coming out on that bush, danger pings, and we're going to have the Elduins might come down, despite the Shadowstalk there, ready for the hard engage. It's not going to be enough, and Infinity are just going to back off. Us. Absolutely phenomenal map sense coming out from them there. And as the tanks try and disengage, not mounted up there, the ETC's going to get caught out there. The mosh pit attempted, not attempted, but Ring of Frost landing on 2 heroes there. And that is going to be the ETC. Still alive. I thought it was going to die there, but the Primal Grass from the Kerrigan landing on the Arthas. He's in the middle of trouble, but he has used his Army of the Dead, and that is over. Meanwhile, Infinity, they are all looking pretty healthy. I mean, the Jaina taking a lot of damage, and the Arthas is going to end up falling. The Malfurion Root landing on the Karazim, trying to keep himself alive and top himself up with his Wear the 100 Fists. And in fact, they are going to end up picking the Tyrael. Maximus maybe going to die off the back of this. Yep, there he goes. And the chain bombs come out from the Kael'thas, landing on the Kerrigan, and she actually jumped on top of the Muradin and ended up falling as a result. But that 100 skull golem,
we see the game end in exactly the same way. That final fight, all that Infinity needed to do during that fight was fight. They just needed to keep Makziboys distracted long enough for that golem to just beat on the core. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't need to win that fight. They just needed to keep it going as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, and as you say, that's all they needed to do. And they succeeded, obviously. And they bring this to a 1-1 draw. So we are going to get our deciding map of Garden of Terror for this best of 3. And I think this has gone incredibly well so far. I thought that game was really good by Infinity. And that last little bit of map sense with that bush. That was pretty so good. That pretty well read. Forethought was phenomenal, and really shows why Infinity are such a strong team, because they make those sorts of decisions and realizations in plays. They knew that Kael'thas was a bait. Yeah. So that is the wrong draft on screen. So you're going to come back to my hideous mug as we wait for the next draft to come up.
So this is going to be game 3. I believe it's going to be on Garden of Terror.
Yes, Garden of Terror is the deciding map. We don't get to see Garden of Terror that much.
It's been a while since we've seen Garden of Terror. I do feel I need a new T-shirt after today, which is while you're busy team fighting this T-shirt, my mercs are in your base, destroying your core.
No, it should be like, yeah. Let's team fight. Objectives win for me. Something like that. So just awaiting the draft, but the lobby has already been made. So I am going to quickly request a draft.